for this now. The calculate table. The first argument is mandatory, the table. Okay, and the second one is the filter. These are the things are optional. Okay, ideally it should be something like this. 1 second, let me just change it now. It should not confuse you. So this is the one mandatory, and okay, let me do it. I'll save it. So like calculate function, the second arguments are filter function. You can give as many filters as possible. It can be a Boolean filter, or it can be a table expression related filter, or you can use the filter modification functions. Okay, Boolean filter expression, table filter, or filter modification functions, you can use it. Okay. So here the table, you need to specify the table that needs to be evaluated. Okay, table that needs to be evaluated. Or so what will happen is basically it will scan the table based on the condition that you give it. Okay. The calculate table, the first argument is, as the name suggests, right? The calculate table, the first argument is table here. The calculate table function also returns a table. Okay. For example, you wanted to see the sales year, right? Fact sales year equal to 2002. It will scan this table and then it will filter this table 2022. And then if you want to have the sum of sales for this year, you can have it. Okay. Here, okay, it is not correct. There is a problem here also. 1 second. So you can refer the last one. Okay, sorry. Calculate table, transaction is greater than 1. Okay, you can filter the table like this. So what I will do is I'll just go here and then I'll show you that. Here, I'm going to click on the plus icon to create a new page. How do I create a calculate table? Where can I use it? Can I use it in a measure? Because the calculate table function, it returns a table itself, right? So if you use a measure in that case, it will throw an error. Okay. For example, I'm going to use something like this. Measure. Your first argument is your table name, sales underscore W04, and then the second argument is a filter one. For example, here the country is equivalent to United States. Okay, if I press enter, so it will scan this table and then it will return the values related to United States. Here in this case, all the columns of the sales W04 will get returned for the countries United States. The expression refers to multiple columns. Multiple columns cannot be converted to scalar value. The calculate function returns only a scalar value. What is scalar value? Single value, but whereas the calculate table function returns multiple value. Hence, you cannot use a measure. You cannot use a calculate table in your measure. Hence, you need to go to modeling and click on new table. This is called your calculated table. And 1 second, new table. I'm going to click on the tick mark. Okay, there are no error. Look here on the right side. If I expand this, the entire tables column, the sales W04 columns, you can see it here also. The calculator, a new table called calculate table measure got created. Okay, a new table got created. But if you see the country here, it should be, this data is related to United States. And if you click on the filter here. Look here, and if you see here, only United States is there. This is how we can filter the data. See, usually we are working with huge amount of data. For example, out of your 100 million records, 25 million records or 35 million records, you can see that the transaction happened in United States. So you just take only the 35 million records, do it in another table so that the performance will be faster. Okay, compare 200 million working with 100 million records. So for that kind of situation, you can use calculate table. Okay. Okay, the question is there any way can I use the calculate table in measure? Yes, you can use the calculate table also in a measure. So what kind of scenario that I can use it? I will just show you some scenarios, where you can use it. For example, you want to use, okay, I just go here, modeling new measure. Measure. And then here I'm going to say, actually I should have given the measure here, right? Yes, calculate table, measure 1. We will give it this way. Calculate. So I'm going to use the calculate table inside the calculate function. Here, let me see, total sales is there. Measure, this measure is already there. Okay, and then I'm going to use calculate table function. So here, sales W04, comma, here the country equal to United States. United States. In this case, let us make it in a more readable form. So currently the cursor is pointing just before the calculate table, right? Hold the Alt key, press enter. It came to the next line, and then use the tab and then put it here. Okay. And then what you do is you just, sorry, I just pressed enter mistakenly. And then in the next line, you can put it like this. So it will be more readable. Are we getting any error? Nothing. Okay. And I'm going to test it. And I'm going to use a chord visual. Calculate table, measure 1. Yes. United States. Yes, yes, it's not a space. This is how in real world scenario you need to do coding. Okay. So in fact, this one should come here so that you will get to know where the open parenthesis starts, where the closed parenthesis. The troubleshooting will be easier. And also your code will be, this is called readability. Okay. Readability. Okay. One second. What is the problem here? Calculate table. Sales W04. Okay. And here it is not, okay. Blank. Let me do one thing. I will just put this. Okay, what we will do is we'll create one table. Okay, before that, let us see what is the problem. Okay, otherwise I'm going to use something like sum x function. Okay, so okay, total orders. Okay, here total orders. Okay, best thing I will give one thing. Yeah, sum of sales. Okay. Yeah, here the calculate function. One second. The sales. Where is there the sales column? Yeah. Is this the correct one? Let me just check. Sales W04. Yes. One second. I just go here and sales is correct only, but it still shows nothing here. Okay. And here the United space. Okay. I have given so much of space. Now look here, 2M. See, here, yes, the readability, for the sake of readability, the first argument supposed to be your expression, comma, and then here you can use a filter, Boolean. See, directly I should have given, right? Sales equal to, instead of calculate table, all the things, better I would have used, I could have used country equal to, this is your Boolean expression. Even with that, it will work. For you to understand whether I can use a calculate table inside the calculate, that is possible. Because the calculate table function itself returns a table. That table will have the subset of the data. United States data alone. Okay. So now what we are doing is we are first subsetting the data. Within this data itself, you go and find out the total sales. Okay, that is how. As I told you, right, the first the filter will apply and then only this one will happen. And here it gives me 2 million. But what was the mistake I did? So I left more space here. Okay, in your data set, United, one space is there. Between the United and States, only one space is there. Mistakenly, I gave 2 spaces. That is the reason why it was showing nothing. Okay, none of the records, it was able to find out United double space states. Okay, so make sure that you are giving single space. In case you don't get any data, blank space, you go and check your data view. Okay, in the country column, how the values are stored, you need to monitor, you need to check it thoroughly. Okay, so if you can find out only one space is there, then you make sure that you are leaving. So if you leave 2 space, right, you are gone. So intentionally I did this so that, these are the common mistakes. Most of them, they do it and then they will panic. Okay, I'm getting blank values. 1 second, I will just see that. Okay, correct. I just, because in the other batch, other student was having the same issue. So we can use the calculate table in the, so with, you can create a table. Okay, you can create a table using calculate table. And also you can use a calculate table in your measure. Okay, these are things that we can see it now. And the next one is filter function. Next, I'll be jumping to the filter function. What was that? Yeah. Your question is issue. I did not understand what is your question. Okay, I will come back to you. Okay, so calculate function returns a scalar value, whereas the calculate table returns a table itself. Okay, but this is going to be a subset of your table. But if you don't specify any filter condition, it will simply create the duplicate of your original table. Don't ever do that mistake, because in the real world scenario, you cannot afford duplicating the huge volume of data. It is time consuming. It consumes a lot of memory. Literally slow down all these systems. Okay, next one is the filter function. Like calculate table function, the filter function also takes the first argument as a table. As I told you, as an exception, the filter function is also an iterative function. Why as an exception? Because most of the iterative functions ends with x, sum x, average x, count ax. But in the case of filter function, it is not end with the x, but still it is considered as it is an iterative function. Since it is an iterative function, the first argument is supposed to be table, then filter. But in this case, you can apply only one filter. Okay. So the filter is both, it's both a table function as well as an iterator function. Look here, that is what I mentioned. The table, what table you want to, filter. It can also be an expression that results in the table. The Boolean expression, okay, you can specify the Boolean expression that is to be valid for each row of the table. Okay, that is what. For example, this is what my measure. Okay, and here we are interested in we are interested in finding out the total sales for the sales amount more than 200. Okay, in this case, this is the condition. First, it is applying the filter. It takes only the subset of the data matching to this condition. Okay, hence the total number of records will get reduced. On top of that, the sum of sales will get applied. So the totals is nothing but the measure in this case. In this measure, I have used sum of sales amount. So the sum of sales amount will get computed on top of this subset of the data. Got it? So now, okay, that is a different thing. Okay, now we will go back and see. since the filter function also, like the calculate table function returns a table, I'm going to copy this as it is. And again, I'm going to, even in this case, we need to create a table, new table. Click on the new table, not the new measure. Yes, we can use it. I show we can use the filter function in measure also. Like calculate function, we can use filter also inside your like calculate table function. Okay, you can use a filter also inside the calculate function. Okay, I just press enter. Filter calculate table. Okay, and here if I go here, data view, let us go and check whether we have, look here, filter calculate table. Okay, so a subset of the data. In this case also we can see only United States. Okay, fine. Like the calculate table function, is there any way can I do the filter in my, can I use the filter function in, in my measure? Yes, you can use it there also. And here instead of calculate table, I'm going to use filter. That's it. Even the filter function takes the first argument as your table name. And in the table, you filter this one. So now I just move this a little bit backward to make it in alignment with this one. Okay. And this one, let's make it somewhere here. Okay. So that this one and this one is in the same line. So this open parenthesis has a corresponding closed parenthesis. If it is not there, it will throw an error. But if you, while typing the query, right, if you type it this way, you can easily make out where you made a mistake. Okay. And I'm going to click on the tick mark. Okay. And here I'm going to click on the this thing and filter table measure. Okay. Here also it gives me almost same. Okay, here 2 million, 2.08. Okay, but if you wanted to display it in different units, it will display it. Format value decimal limits. Look here, two decimal limits. If you see, both of them are same, right? This is calculate table. The calculate table I have used in the measure. Similarly, the filter table also used the measure. Fine. So both calculate table and filter table returns a table that we have seen it. But you can use both, the calculate table inside the new table only. If you want to use it alone, separately, okay? If you want to use the filter table function directly, like calculate table, you need to create it in the new table only. If you want to use these two functions directly, you have to create the new table. But you can also use these two functions inside your calculate function. That kind of situation, you can use a measure. That's all. What other difference here? For example, I'm going to click on slicer. In this slicer, I'm going to use the country column. In the sales W04, I'm going to use a country column. For example, here, if I select Albania, this one becomes blank because in this case, the filter condition returns false. Country equal to United States is there, but it is not United States, hence it is showing nothing. Whereas this one still works, right? The calculate table function, is a filter modification function here, okay? So even though you selected Albania, this remains constant. Okay, so there are situations, for example, here you want to display the Albania alone, but here you want to display only the United States. Okay, irrespective of the thing that you select. For example, when I click on Albania, it should show Albania sales along with that United States, so that you can compare. Let's say your base location is United States. You start your business is in United States. You are basically from United States. Hence, you want to compare other country sales side by side with your country sales. In that kind of situation, this value will remain constant. How to make it constant? Irrespective of the value that you select, this one will remain constant. In this case, what we have done, we have used the calculate table function. Okay, using which, so with this, we are able to understand it is a filter modification function, the calculate table function. So it modify the context in which the data is loaded. Okay. And but whereas the filter function, it is not modifying the context, whereas here it is modifying the context. That is what the difference. Are you able to understand or not? Okay. So this is the one. So for example, if I select United States, only then this will show the value here. And here, if I select United States instead of Albania, if I select, look here, only when I select it displays here. But when I select anything else, this one gets, that means, see here, the filter modifies the default filter context, right? If any filter comes outside of this one, it simply override this. The calculate table has that much power. So I will not change just because you change the value. Okay, I will remain as it is. Okay, yes, that power. Okay, it modifies the filter context. In this case, it modifies the so United Kingdom, but it still, look here, if you keep the cursor here, the filter came here, United Kingdom, but still it shows the United States sales performance, and it modified this filter, and still it shows United States only. Whereas here also the filter is United Kingdom is coming, but it is not overriding the filter context. It is not displaying the United States here. So filter context could not override the filter context, whereas this guy override the filter context. In what kind of scenario this is helpful? For example, you want this value to be constant. This is your total USA sales. You want to compare with each and every city's sales with this one. So this one, you can make it constant like this. And here, what you can do here also, you can use, here what you do is you can use, um, so in this case, yeah, whatever the country that I selected, it should select, display that one. That we will see it a little later, okay? Okay, in this case, what I am going to do is, where is the filter function? If I remove the filter condition, the filter is not much helpful, right? Because the condition becomes false. Look here, if I select Afghanistan, it displays because here, there is no filter condition. This is my Afghanistan sales. This is my United States. This is my Algeria sales. Wait, Angola, Argentina sale is this one. This is my United. This one remains constant. This is not getting disturbed. In this case, since we have used the calculate table function, it overrides the existing filter context. This one is the filter context. It overrides this one. It's no matter what filter you applied, I will still show only the United States. Whereas here, the filter table function, right? Here we have simply used, there is no filter. I removed the filter, right? If you want to display the other countries' values side by side, if you want to compare it, you can use this way, okay? But to demonstrate that, I have used the filter table here. Okay, what I will do is I will just, what is that? You want this one to be, leave it as it is? No, 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 you will get confused. One second. You can watch my video, you can practice it, right? I assure you. It's up to you. Filter sales underscore W04, and country is equivalent to, sorry, and then for this we need one more thing here, right? Yeah, and I'm going to press enter. So in the case of filter, if you select some other country other than the United States, it will return false. It will not do any sum on that. Okay. So now we understood what is calculate table function, what is the filter function is all about, and the difference also we've explored. Okay, what is the difference between table filter expression, Boolean filter? A Boolean expression filters columns or measures and returns true or false values for each row or data point. Okay, the table filter expression filters tables and return tables. That, like filter function, it filters the data in your table and then returns the table. Whereas the Boolean expression, it filters the columns or measures also and returns to also measures. So what do you mean by measures? That we will see it little later. Okay, here. Okay, I'm going to create, in this case, why we don't have total sales. Total orders here, total sales M is there. Okay, okay, this is the total sales. And yes, what we'll do is, okay, I'm going to take this one. Here we have used the, okay, I just use separate Boolean filter. So we can, this is your Boolean filter. Simply say United States, this is more than, this is your Boolean filter. First, let us understand. This one I already explained, right? Okay. So even in this case, it will validate whether the selected country is United States. Otherwise, it will return false. If it is true, it will return a value. Otherwise, it will not do anything. Anyhow, I will just put this one here. For example, if I select Afghanistan, look here, that is the beauty of Boolean filter, right? So even if the condition is not true, it remains constant, even in the case of Boolean filter, okay? For each row or data point, it turns true or false for each row. 1 second, let me just check Boolean filter. Yeah, country equal to United States. So in this case, what is happening? If I select different country, but in the case of filter function, it just take the subset of the data first and then it applies it. Whereas in this case, the Boolean filter measure, 1 second, here, the United States country is there, but it still shows both. So now the question is, why do I need to have a calculate table? I could have used, yeah, you can use this one. But for you to understand the difference between filter and calculate table, how to use them in a measure, I have demonstrated that. When we use these two things in a measure, the calculate table modifies the filter context, whereas the filter is not modifying the filter. Now, for that purpose, I have given you. Now we are comparing the filter table filter expression and then the Boolean filter measure. So in this case, when I use the Boolean filter measure, what happens if I select United States, it will show United States. But if I say, select anything else, so even in this case, it is getting modified. The filter is getting, 1 second, when I select Australia, and it is showing only the United States, right? That is the one it shows. But if you don't use either the filter or the table expression, Boolean filter expression, it simply displays the total sales value. That's all. Okay. So yeah, we already have total sales. You want me to display that? Yes, yes, I will put that here. Don't worry. You're saying this one, right? Total sales. Yeah. Yes, this is the one. I will put it here. So in this case, look here, if I select Argentina, it display the, 1 second, Angola sales versus United States sales, okay? So that's what you can use, either the calculate table function or you can use the Boolean filter in your measure, okay? But to show you the demonstration, that the calculate table can also be used inside the measure. I have explained this one, okay? Okay, here okay, in the Boolean filter, since I have used the calculate function, you can apply multiple conditions. Here also the same thing, okay? The calculate table, okay? Not necessarily have to use the calculate table, but the idea is this one, okay? And yes, I just take this one, comma, we can add one more condition, right? Here, total sales. This is what your question, right? Okay, we will validate it. Total sales is greater than So can I use a measure to do the filtering? Okay, the function has been used in true or false that is used as a table print. This is not allowed. Okay, in this case, yeah, this is something wrong here. The Boolean expression filters columns or measures and returns true or false values for each row. Yeah, in this case, it is filtering this one only. Okay, United States. Here you cannot see, you cannot use a measure to do the filter directly. Okay, you should not take it that way. Is that what your doubt, right? Aishu? Yeah, okay, okay. No, you cannot use the measure to filter it. So measure, you want to filter it in the sense, this is your measure. If you want to filter it, you can use the Boolean filter here. That is what, okay, here I put the comma, extra comma. And this is also not required. This is meant for this, okay. And on the press enter. Okay, next one is, now you are clear about the difference between calculate table and the filter function. And also we discussed about table filter expression, Boolean expression. And in the case of table filter expression, it, if the condition is false, it is not returning the value simply. Whereas in this case, it overrides the existing filter. Look here, in this case, the country is Angola, but still it overrides the existing filter context. Modify the, because the calculate function modifies the filter context. This is a classic example. Override the existing filter context. With the calculate table function also, you can override the existing, modify the filter context or override the existing filter context. Okay. And next one is the, next we will go back to the previous session discussion. Look here, in this case, we have seen the difference between all and all selected. Next one is all except. We have something called all except function. Just give me a second. I'm getting a call.